fine audience and a number of distinguished guests. To each of you individually I say, Baruch Habu B'Shem Hashem, blessed be he that cometh in the name of God. I wish now to convey thanks to all those who lent a hand to make this Jubilee Festival a success, and especially to the editor of the journal, Mr. Nathan Gold, to the director and organizer of the journal, Mr. Ludwig Rosenstein, and to the corrector, Mr. Moshe Levinson, that at this celebration we should give a glimpse into the future of Jewish life.
I've been to this congregation often. It is one of my own. I make it almost an article of faith to come here on every Yom Kippur. And it's done my heart good, revived my spirits. You have one of the most eloquent rabbis in New York, perhaps anywhere in the United States, who has a great understanding of orthodoxy in our faith and also of the currents of modern times. And it is very fitting that, considering your devotion and dedication, of which we have spoken so very often, that you should have with you today a distinguished representative of the State of Israel, as well as a distinguished representative of the United States, your own local congressman who occupies the place in which I sat for so many years. And I am very glad today to appear as a member of a coordinate House. You know, the members of the House of Representatives are very sensitive about having the Senate considered the upper house. But we're all here on this very same mission, which is to commemorate a great landmark. 5 decades of service to our faith and to the community is a very real achievement, a historic achievement. And I deeply feel that in this community, this neighborhood, with its changing character, after all, I lived here myself not too much less than 50 years ago. A little bit further up, but still of the same general quality. And I know the changes that it's undergone. And to have you here with a vital, active congregation, always with a fine attendance, and always with the warmth and spirit, which is a great joy to me, as well as a solemn spiritual experience, is a very fine tribute to the congregation, to its rabbi, to its president, to my personal friend, Mr. Meyer, who has been associated with me in so many things for so long and who is almost synonymous with this congregation. So bless you all. I have a very full afternoon, but I couldn't fail at the rabbi's invitation to associate myself with you in so historic, so sentimental an occasion. And so a great mazel tov for the 50th year, and let us pray together for 50 more.
We have assembled here to celebrate our golden anniversary. It is the end of an era, the end of 50 years in the life of our synagogue. And as you think about it, 50 years is a long measure of time. And the mind, dwelling upon a half-century of years, becomes intrigued, trying to conjure up the most important highlights which time has now crystallized into history. Believe me, I shall not attempt a comprehensive review of our history, for that has been expertly written into our Golden Jubilee Journal. However, I do believe it is worthwhile to reflect for a few moments. Within the walls of this beautiful house of worship, we come to pray, to seek peace and consolation. We take for granted the many beneficent influences this synagogue has to offer. To us, it was handed down as an inheritance, free and clear. But what about our founders? Did it come so easy to them? Let us search the records and see. With concentrated deliberation, we turn back the pages of history. How revealing the records are. For we find that our founders were engulfed in a long series of trials and tribulations. Were it not for a handful of indomitable visionaries who had the courage and the tenacity to hang on, their dream of building the first Orthodox synagogue in Washington Heights might never have become a reality.
I would be a strange person if I did not acknowledge the manifestation of your goodwill at this occasion of our jubilee by your presence here this afternoon. 24 years ago, we came to this great land, poor immigrants. At that time, a renowned congregation adopted us, and we were touched by the spirit which emanated from this shul. We had learned what this synagogue accomplished in the past decades before we arrived. And today, I have the privilege to speak to you here as the president. This afternoon, we are celebrating the anniversary of the birth of this edifice. But at the same time, we also wish to proclaim and assure the community that with reason and responsibility, this synagogue can still survive. A half-century ago, our sanctuary was built to serve the Jewish people for generations. Jewish men and women realized a dream, a vision, and they erected this Mishkan Ma'at, the synagogue, Washington Heights congregation, B'nai Yisrael. They lived under this name because the everlasting flame of the burning bush blazed in their souls. This perpetual fire, it burns in the heart of every true Jew. They called themselves Bnei Yisrael, the sons of Israel, and they acted like Bnei Yisrael.
And as ornate as possible, the congregation Bnei Israel, better known as Washington Heights Congregation, immediately it took rank among the finest. The architect, the builder, the decorator, all did their work with matchless skill and craftsmanship. The synagogue became a thing of beauty. As the years have passed, this beauty was increased, and the loving care and sacrifice of the members of the congregation have never failed to recognize the responsibility of maintaining their sacred charge. But dear friends, should we not remember that bricks and mortar and ornamentation do not make a synagogue? They serve to present a grand exterior, but they are lifeless and inanimate. The stone may cry out from the wall, but unless the human heart responds, the building in all its glory stands cold and dead. It is the human touch, the pulsation of the hearts of men, that infuse life into the stones. It is not this imposing building that we acclaim this day. It is the record of 50 years of ceaseless Jewish activity that we celebrate. The Washington Heights congregation is the mother of synagogues, from which others have sprung, but pride of place is hers. To this synagogue, the local community has looked for leadership and guidance. From this synagogue, it has taken its standard. This position has been maintained by the religious zeal and Jewish allegiance of the congregation. The synagogue has maintained its rigid adherence to Jewish tradition. Wise statesmanship and firm determination have directed the life of the synagogue so that we can point today to a vigorous community which cheerfully bears its burdens and glories in its traditional strength. Nothing that comes under the category Jewish has been alien to its work and endeavor. Movements that are charitable, educational, literary, social, national, all have their place in its scheme of labor. The story of this contribution, of the contribution that this synagogue made to the cause of Torah in the last 2.5 decades, is yet to be written. If its message is to be carried right to the heart of the Jew and beyond it, the message must be one of authority, the divine message that comes from of old, the everlasting, unchanging Torah, which is Israel's legacy from Sinai. The other word, b'mish'anosom, is in the plural, with their staves suggesting that even if authority is one and unchangeable, it is understood in various ways, and by various means it serves as the staff to support those who would be upheld by it. What does this tell us? It seems to describe the purpose and possibility of the synagogue. With many voices it speaks its message. In various ways it reveals its possibilities. In diverse forms it sets forth its ideals, so that all who desire may find that the supreme authority sets no limits to their activity for Jewish idealism. Thus the whole scheme of synagogue activity expressed in Torah, Avodah, Gmilus Chasodim, under the one great and supreme authority which we call tradition, become the staves or the supports of a healthy Jewish life. Of a third of our people, millions of men, women and children, Yiskereim Elokeinu letevo, V'yinkom le'einenu, Nikmas domum hashafuch. Today, the mind travels backward along the long road of this synagogue's history, and a pleasant road it is. Today, too, the mind looks forward along the road that still remains. And with the blessing of God and the zeal of those who serve Him, that road will be even more glorious, for it will lead to the promised land, the triumph of Jewish hopes and the glory of the divine name. Thank you.